What's going on? What's going on, everybody? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned in to episode 17 of the HFWB podcast series. I am your host, Clifton Pope. And once again, I would love to thank everybody who is currently watching right now on YouTube. Make sure y'all click that subscribe button on the YouTube channel for Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business. Like always, let's get those subscriptions going. I truly appreciate it. And I also want to give a special shout out to everybody who is currently listening to the HFWB podcast, also on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and Google Podcasts. While you're doing that, make sure you tell someone you know and tell someone that you don't know. That way they can tell someone that they do know to download, stream the podcast, share the podcast, and let's continue to spread the word on everything health, wealth, and just overall knowledge of self, because that's what the HFWB podcast is truly all about. I will personally say I feel pretty good. I mean, today is Sunday, November the 7th, 2021, as I'm recording this. Some of y'all may hear it later on today on this exact date. Some of y'all may hear this podcast to start off y'all's week tomorrow on November the 8th. Regardless, I feel great. It's a spiritual Sunday, and I'm just truly blessed and thankful just to simply just have this platform to talk about the things that I like to talk about on this episode of the HFWB podcast. And something told me as soon as I woke up this morning, like, let me just record the podcast because I have the energy to do so. Plus, I want to keep on staying in touch with you, the people, and all that good stuff. But anyways, I want to get into what I actually want to talk about on the HFWB podcast. It's a couple of brief things that I have here, at least that I took some notes on here the last couple of days. Another thing that kind of just drew my attention, I actually heard this while I was working earlier this week. Apparently, as far as with this antiviral drug to help treat COVID-19, I don't know who I heard it from. I think I heard it from one of the managers, I guess the RXOM or something like that. She was basically saying, hey, did you hear that they're going to try to make a pill to help treat COVID-19? And my initial reaction was like, wait, what? They're trying to make a pill or something like that? So, me being curious and me being a little bit interested after that was being said, I decided to do a little bit of research on it. And it turns out, actually, the U.S. is actually getting closer to having an antiviral drug to help treat COVID-19. So basically, they're calling this a game changer, at least the people who are designing it and stuff, which is assumingly the FDA, of course, on this. They're calling this game changing and limiting the virus severity, especially among the elderly, which will definitely help out a lot. And of course, with the immunocompromised populations for whom vaccines are less effective, because it's depending on, of course, how your body is and how it's structured. Everybody reacts to the vaccine differently. That's the reason why people are either getting sick off of it or not getting sick off of it or not feeling a thing. It just really just depends on your immune system. But anyways, basically about the whole antiviral pill, apparently Pfizer is planning to complete 2 studies of its antiviral therapy. It's called Paxlavoid, Paxlovid, if I'm spelling that right. Apparently they're going to have it done by the end of the year after they submit the data to the FDA just to show the safe and effectiveness through all the clinical trials and all that stuff. And it's not just Pfizer who's actually cooking something up as far as COVID-19 antiviral pill, which is just insane within itself. Apparently, manufacturers like Merck and Ridgeback, they also applied to the FDA, I should say, for emergency use authorization recommended for their pill, which I'm going to spell this because I don't even know how to say it. It's spelled Molnupivir. I don't even know how to say it, but that's basically what the name of the antiviral pill that COVID-19 for Merck and Ridgeback are doing. And apparently it's already been recommended by the British regulatory agency for those with like mild to moderate COVID-19 symptoms. And hey, the Great Britain's actually making a little bit of history by being the first country in the world to approve a COVID-19 antiviral pill. I honestly think that's just crazy within itself. I never thought I'd see today. It's like now we went from going to from COVID-19 vaccines to now developing pills to help treat COVID-19. And it's funny how they're doing all of this, and I know this is going to be a little bit off topic what I'm about to say. It's funny that they're creating all these pills and everything for COVID-19, but yet weed is still illegal. That's just something within itself that we need to fix down the road, which I hope that they do, as far as legalizing weed for recreational and medical use, since they have the capability to do that, considering the fact that they're developing antiviral pills for COVID-19 and stuff like that. So we might as well just legalize weed and everything, so we can, of course, have the right medicine to, of course, keep us sane at the end of the day. But that's just an opinion that I wanted to throw in there off topic, because it's kind of funny how they're coming up with this COVID-19 antiviral pill for those who'd rather take a pill versus getting a shot, which that kind of doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, at the end of the day, it boils down to what I've been saying on previous episodes of the Hfwb podcast, which is simply get yourself vaccinated. That way you can get back to living the life you used to live pre-COVID-19, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to get back to at the end of the day. Another thing that I kind of found interesting here within the last couple of days, apparently, of course, the vaccine mandates are being battled with a lot, especially with the restrictions and everything that our President Joe Biden put into place. It's actually pissing off a lot of people here in the state of Texas, where we have our state attorney general, Mr. Ken Paxton, who basically filed a petition for review with the U.S. Circuit Courts of Appeal, basically challenging the validity of the Biden administration vaccine mandate. Basically, his argument is basically that the federal requirements on private businesses and all that are unconstitutional. He's basically filing like all these motions and all this stuff, just saying that it's a breakthrough abuse of federal power that is flatly unconstitutional. And he argues that the mandate goes beyond the limited power and the specific responsibilities of the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, which is basically OSHA, who designs all the workplace safe environment rules that we all follow every single day that we go to work, because anyone who is working, of course, they're familiar with OSHA and all that, or at least they should be, as far as for safety hazards and all that kind of stuff, if they paid attention to what they read in the little job manuals and all that when they first get hired. But anyways, basically they're saying that it's unconstitutional as far as our state attorney general, which is kind of weird, because it's kind of like what I've been saying in the past. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day where a vaccine has become more and more political by the moment, because it went from us just having a breakthrough of getting the vaccine approved by the FDA. It was just Pfizer, keep in mind, and then Moderna and Johnson & Johnson came along, and then that's where all the politics and all the choices came in, to where it's like, oh, I want Pfizer, do I want Moderna, or hey, I want Johnson & Johnson, I just want to do this one time and be done with it. And then you got all these people just talking and talking and talking, and next thing you know, the politics get involved, and then it went from being a choice on whether you want to do it or not, to where it's like, okay, you need to do this, or else your life is never going to be the same, because you're not going to be able to work, you're not going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to enjoy yourself. So looking at it from both sides, I kind of see the whole argument as far as what's going on with our state attorney general and the Biden administration. I mean, I get it. It's kind of like stripping away the choice as far as, oh, what happened to it was our choice, and whether we have the right to do it, and we have the right to choose, and all that kind of stuff. And then I see it from the side as far as, okay, we just need to get vaccinated. That way we can get back to normal as quickly as possible. So I see the sense of urgency in that as well. In my personal opinion, it's the same opinion. It hasn't really changed too much about it. Just get vaccinated and you won't have to worry about it. But if you still haven't gotten vaccinated to this very moment, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you at this point, other than, hey, good luck trying to find yourself a job. Good luck being able to trying to put money on the table and all that stuff, because it's getting to the point to where it's like, if you're not vaccinated, you're not going to work. It's just simple as that. And we all need to work to eat, to where we can, of course, cover our living expenses, which can lead us to saving, to investing, to building something with our money. See how I threw that in there? Save to invest to build. Remember that from a few episodes back? But overall, this is where it gets interesting. Apparently, the Labor Department, the top lawyer, Nanda Sadina, I probably said her name wrong, or actually Seema Nanda, I'm sorry. She said this in a statement, who basically 2 days ago on Friday, that the Biden administration is fully prepared to defend the standard in court. And basically she talks about how OSHA gives the authority to act quickly in emergency where the agency finds that workers are subjected to a grave danger and a new standard is necessary to protect them, said Nanda. Basically what she's saying is that, hey, the Biden administration is aware of what's going on. We're ready to defend our stance and our basically position on this. And basically, OSHA has the right to implement whatever it is that they want to do in order to protect the safety of those who are employed by the company. And I get all that. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure everybody is safe, making sure everybody can work in peace to where they can go home to their families as healthy as they possibly can be. So I understand that as well. So it's just a matter of just working through all the kinks through all this and just separating all this. If we have to do this, I guess, in a court of law to make it official, by all means do it. At the end of the day, just get yourself vaccinated. That's pretty much all there is to it at the end of the day. I'm not going to go back and forth with it about this. Like I said, either get yourself vaccinated or good luck and God bless you as far as finding a job to help provide for your family, because it's getting to the point where even OSHA is implementing this vaccine mandate into their policies. And once it's in the OSHA handbook, forget about it. You might as well just abide by it or go on somewhere at this point, And according with this vaccine mandate, apparently it took place a couple of days ago, where businesses with like 100 or more employees require vaccine shots, apparently by like January the 4th, or submit a negative COVID test at least once a week. And it's even getting more stricter for the unvaccinated, where they have to wear masks indoors by December the 5th. And basically this little mandate, it covers over 84 million private sector employees. That's just insane within itself. And it kind of goes back to kind of I predicted all of this happening in a couple of episodes ago, as far as, hey, it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to get yourself vaccinated, or good luck going to a restaurant without having proof of vaccination, or going to work out, or even going to work at a job just in general. I knew that this was going to happen, and I knew that it was going to get more and more political. And for those who didn't believe me at the time, I hate to say this, but I basically told you so, and I knew that this was going to happen, and you should be more in tune with what's going on with the Hfwb podcast. That way I can keep you up to speed and maybe give my intake on it, and whether you agree with it or not, hey, you can't say I didn't tell you or warn you that this was going to happen at the end of the day. But overall, that's a couple of things that I kind of found interesting as far as what's going on with COVID-19, and I'm just praying at this point that we put an end to this by this time next year, by the end of 2022, where we can maybe put an end to this. But it's maybe 50-50 shot if we can get everybody vaccinated and get caught up with the booster shots and stuff like that. It's very possible. I'm definitely going to remain optimistic about it, because that's all we really have left at this very point. Because it's like I say all the time, we got to increase our muscle in order to build our hustle, and we got to continue to be the strongest, healthiest version of ourselves that we can be at the end of the day. So I want to also give a quick little transition as I talk about basically nutrition tips and, eating right and stuff like that. For those who are looking to, of course, find a couple of quick little nutrition tips to, of course, get themselves on track from a healthy living standpoint, and to get back to, of course, revolutionizing their kitchen, retraining their taste buds, and cutting down on all the sugar, because sugar makes you fat. Fat doesn't make you fat. I know you remember that from a couple of episodes back. So I want to remind y'all once again, revolutionize your kitchen, get back to eating wholly and natural, and just keep things as natural as possible. Get back to, the fruits, the vegetables, the proteins of the world, stuff like that. And I almost forgot to mention this as well. Eat plenty of fiber as well, because fiber is very, very effective, and I'm not gonna lie, I've slept on fiber tremendously, and I'm trying to get my fiber intake up, just like I'm challenging you, the people, to do the same. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I actually did a little research on why fiber is very effective. Basically, it helps you feel fuller for longer, and it supplies your muscles with a lasting release of energy and nutrients. It's best for like weight loss, muscle building plan to help substitute. It's good, I should say, for weight loss and muscle building. It's a great idea to actually substitute fiber from carbs. That way you can get a good source of it, and that way you can continue to, like I said, just have that energy and have that strength for your muscles down the road. Because in my personal opinion, having fiber within yourself is a major key, and I say major key, to increasing your muscle to build your hustle. And that's what that truly is all about. And at the end of the day, when it comes to increasing your muscle, you got to make sure, you got to stretch, you got to work out the kinks and all that good stuff. And as a matter of fact, it's like the best way you can basically do all of that is just by implementing yoga into your life. And I'll personally say this, I used to hate stretching. I never was a big fan of stretching because I didn't like to feel the pain and all that, but I tend to forget that pain is weakness leaving the body, and I should have dealt with that a long time ago. And I myself have noticed a tremendous difference by implementing yoga into my personal workout routine. I always try to do yoga every day, if not every other day. Worst case, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, just so I can keep my body as flexible as it can possibly be. And it actually, ironically enough, doing yoga when I started it, a couple of years ago, I want to say 2018, 2019, it actually helped me become even stronger than I was in my earlier 20s, which is crazy within itself. Because here's what yoga is pretty much all about. Yoga is a transformative journey, right? And it's meant to lead you towards some type of goal, whatever that goal may be. Whether that goal is less stress, because we always have a lot of stress, and yoga is a good form of a stress reliever as far as releasing the tension that's within your body. So that's just something to think about. It could also benefit as far as better health, kind of like what I just alluded to a second ago, as far as having the right warm-up and getting your body as loose as possible to where you can have the most effective workout and continue to build more muscles to add to your body and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, whenever I finish this podcast right now, I'm probably going to do a nice little yoga session myself, because I'm slipping a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be honest with y'all, but I try my best to do it every day, every other day, or at least 2 to 3 times a week. That's pretty much all you need for the sake of your body. Now, everybody is different as far as how they know their body and how their body is structured. So I would personally say try to do yoga, or at least, try it out, once a week, ease yourself into it. And then if you feel comfortable doing it, ramp it up to 2 or 3 times a week. And if you love it that much, try to do it every day or every other day. I'm not saying jump right into it and do it every day, because that's when you're going to quit and you're going to realize, oh, it's not for me, I should have paced myself. No, just take it easy. Do it once a week and see if it doesn't make a difference in your life. I guarantee you it will, because I'm living proof that yoga can make a difference in your life, because I can't feel no better thanks to me doing yoga, especially before and after my workouts. It makes a big difference for myself, and I'm challenging you, the people, to allow it to make a difference within yourself by just simply pacing yourself on that. But overall, yoga is a transformative journey that can help basically bring inner peace. I mean, last time I checked, aren't we just trying to find some sort of inner peace within ourselves? And I feel like yoga can make the biggest difference in the world within doing that. So basically, no matter what your goal is, whether it's, like I said, less stress, better health, or just finding inner peace, knowing where you are and can help you know where you can begin. at the end of the day. So simply just know where you are as far as within your body, as far as your flexibility rate and all that stuff. That way you can have an idea of, okay, this is what I need to do to get to here. Come up with that plan already and just take the first steps towards your goal. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to accomplishing our goals, taking that first step is major, key, and it's critical, because once you take that first step, the other steps come naturally, and next thing you know, it's just like you're walking along the trail, just, hey, handling your business and doing what it is that you're supposed to do. And that is simply increasing your muscle to build your hustle. A couple of quick things I actually want to talk about as far as in the financial world before I start to wrap things up here. I noticed that, our economy is basically getting slowly but surely back to normal. And it's actually shaking off all the COVID-related slumps and all the job losses that occurred due to COVID-19, because I kid you not, people seem to not realize that this pandemic has basically crippled the economy all of 2020, and we're basically barely starting to recover from that. As a matter of fact, the employment rate is actually going up for those who are interested. It basically increased with like over 531,000 jobs being added last month, with gains in like manufacturing, hospitality, professional and business services, and stuff like that. And the unemployment rate fell to 4.6%, which is good, which means basically people are starting to get back into their routine and their rhythm as far as working, and where they can cover their living expenses and hopefully get to the chance to get out of the rat race and save to invest to build something for themselves and their families. But overall, as far as how many jobs and everything were added, I kind of did a little bit of homework on this. It says apparently the professional and the business services, like business operations and stuff like that, they added over 100,000 jobs. Manufacturing companies added 60,000 jobs, which really isn't a surprise, because products need to be made and products need to be created in order to be sold based on the service that the customer is asking for. So overall, products still need to be made within those factories in order to get the products moving. That way services can be provided. So you got to have manufacturing companies in order to do that. So that's no surprise there. And then you got your warehouse workers of the world, who of course pack all that stuff together and make sure it's shipped out properly. They added about 54,400 jobs. Retail employment went up to like 35,300 jobs. Construction jobs, obviously, you gotta have stuff built and have stuff made as far as homes, houses, commercial property, lists like that. Basically, real estate. Real estate is never going to go anywhere. It's only going to continue to grow and continue to expand, because we all need a place to live, and businesses need facilities where they need to operate out of. So you got to have construction in order to do that. So that's no surprise there that construction jobs continue to increase. And then you got your leisure and hospitality, as far as like your hotels and restaurants and stuff like that. I'm not going to lie, those are the people who I felt for the most in 2020 last year, when they were losing their jobs, because it's like, hey, we were all on lockdown. We couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go out to eat at a restaurant. We had to order takeout and everything. And as far as hotels, I mean, you can't blame hotel company businesses for plummeting a little bit, because, hey, people weren't traveling as much because they were on lockdown. And which in return led to basically hotel companies suffering, because they didn't have the rooms. They had the rooms available to offer to people, but guests couldn't come and check into the hotels because of the lockdowns and all that stuff, which is crazy within itself. So I'm most importantly happy that hotels are starting to get back up and running, and restaurants are up and running once again, because it just feels great just to go out and eat in a restaurant. I'm not going to lie. I mean, me and my lovely girlfriend, we just went to eat out at a restaurant last night, and it feels great to do that once again on a regular basis. It really does. But overall, as far as this whole job growth that's going on with the economy and stuff, Apparently, of course, the big bad feds and the central banks always got to pay attention to every little detail about this. Because you remember what I told you about as far as a few episodes back when the feds were going to start like tapering and cutting back on all the money that they pumped into the economy to keep it alive and pumped into the stock markets and the bond markets and all that stuff just to keep everything alive, up and running. That's the only bad thing that's about the jobs starting to come back, because as that comes back, then the feds are going to be like, well, why do we need to keep pumping money into the economy or into the stock market or into the bonds when people are starting to get their jobs again and they could start working for a living? Well, you seem to forget there's a bunch of people who are still on unemployment and stuff like that who refuse to work because of the pandemic. So when you cut down on the money, when you pump into the economy that way, those people are going to get wiped out. The people who are invested in stocks and bonds, and I'm not going to lie, I'm sort of invested in that a little bit, that might potentially get wiped out. Which is why you need to have yourself a backup plan and not fully invest all your money in stocks and bonds. In my personal opinion, I would say jump into the cryptocurrency world, since this world is becoming more and more of a computer every single day and everything's going digital. My advice, either get into real estate, get into gold or silver, or get into Bitcoin, get into that cryptocurrency. See me, I'm down with half of those. I personally have a little bit of silver, and I'm about to ramp it up as far as adding as much Bitcoin to my portfolio as much as possible, and I challenge you, the people, to do the same. And eventually down the road, I want to somehow get me a piece of gold coin and eventually get into real estate as well, to where I can step my portfolio game up. And I'm always open to those who are involved in that field, to whoever want to give me the information and the knowledge to, of course, get into that and continue to improve on that. Let me know. Let's work. That way we can make money together at the end of the day. But overall, apparently, of course, with this big bad Fed that they announced on Wednesday that they would begin paring its bond purchases, ending the $120 billion monthly program by the middle of next year, which means they're basically going to cut down on the money that they're pumping into the economy slowly but surely. And then they're going to try to raise interest rates once it ends the program so they could combat the inflation, because it's like I've said a few episodes back and over again, inflation is a real thing, and for those who forget what inflation is, it means the cost of living expenses goes up, which means the purchasing power of the dollar and the value of it continues to plummet. As in other words, you're basically paying more for the things that you used to pay less for, because of the fact that the cost of it continues to rise, which leads to the purchasing power of the dollar bill that's in your pocket. It basically is becoming worthless, and it's becoming fake to a certain extent. But that's another top story for another day, which I'm not going to go into probably right now, but I'll probably go into it a little bit more in details just to give y'all a refresher of the memory. But overall, it's just something that I would definitely pay attention to, because usually when the feds try to increase interest rates to combat inflation, it usually leads to some sort of a crash happening somewhere, like a recession or even worse, a depression and stuff like that. I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't happen in the middle of next year like they said that they're going to start doing, because if that does happen, we might be looking at a possible recession or depression, even worse, by this time next year, if they plan on doing that, based on how the feds are basically timing all of this. Now, obviously, it could change. It's not set in stone, obviously. You got to take it one day at a time. But basically, the central banks, they can reevaluate its timetable, like I just said, when it meets in December, if job growth remains strong. As in other words, if they see that jobs are continuing to increase and get back to normal, they're going to be like, we might start cutting this back a little bit earlier and maybe bump up the interest rates a little bit. Now, that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing, because with inflation worsening, the outlook for inflation, it could also lead to policymakers acting faster to end the bond purchasing and begin battling high prices with higher interest rates. As in other words, They feel like they're going to even things out by increasing the interest rates just so they could combat inflation that's already increasing as it is. But at the end of the day, we're still dealing with the biggest bubble of all time, and all bubbles are eventually meant to pop at some point. I just hope that when it pops, that people have their money in order and have some sort of safe haven to where they can have access to money just in case things get as worse as it did in 2008 with the Great Recession. And hopefully it doesn't get to the point to where we have to deal with a Great Depression Part 2, because like I said, the government is still spending trillions and trillions of dollars, swiping away like if they have a credit card and stuff like that. But they seem to forget that somebody is eventually going to have to pay off that balance to clear up that debt. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to probably try to make people like me and you and the normal middle working class, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be the ones having to pay for it at the end of the day, whether people realize it or not. When it's all said and done, they better hope that their savings accounts and all that don't get wiped out or freezed or something. And they better hope that their stocks and their bonds and the mutual funds and the ETFs of the world don't freeze up and get wiped out. Which is why I would suggest, putting your money into like real estate, putting your money into commodities like energy and stuff like that, the gold, silvers, the oils and all that of the world. And I would even get more in tune with Bitcoin and Ethereum. That way you can transition into the digital world, since this world is becoming more of a computer every single day. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my phone right now. I'm about to pull up some stuff as far as what's going on with Bitcoin, because I haven't personally checked Bitcoin's price in quite some time. So let's check it together while I have you on the Hfwb podcast. Well, it's a good. Bitcoin is up right now, $61,819, which is pretty decent, and Ethereum is up to $4,587.41. So you could say it's a good time to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum, but me personally, I would wait till it crashes and then I would buy it again, because the name of the game is to buy low and hold as it rises. Some people would say buy low, sell high. That's just retarded. I would say buy low and hold it as it rises. That way you could make more money off of it, and just continue to buy low and watch it rise as you hold on to it. That's what I would personally do. And as a matter of fact, as soon as Bitcoin and Ethereum crashes, I'm going to buy some more, because it's definitely worth it buying it on a discounted price. Look at it when Bitcoin crashes or when stocks crash or anything like that. Buy it when it's low, because look at it like a clearance sale, like at Walmart, for example. You like to buy stuff at clearance when it's at Walmart at a discounted price, because it helps you save money. Look at investing in Bitcoin, look at it that way. Whenever Bitcoin crashes, buy it then, because that's basically Bitcoin on a discounted price. Just a couple of things to think about as far as that is concerned, but other than that, I'm basically going to start wrapping things up here on the Hfwb podcast, because I feel like I have said enough as far as on this episode, at least until the next episode. And it's just been an interesting time, and I want to end the Hfwb podcast with a little bit of inspiration just to keep you motivated. And I was looking at some quotes yesterday, and I found the quote of the day from brainyquote.com. For those who are interested in looking up quotes to get inspired, it's a real good website. I would recommend y'all check it out. And I was looking at the quote of the day. I think it was by John C. Maxwell, and if I remember this correctly, he said, a true leader will know the way, go the way, and show people that way. I may have the quote a little bit messed up, and it may not be exactly that, but when I saw that, I thought, I gotta mention that on the podcast. So I'm gonna say this one more time, and this is a quote from John Maxwell, and I want y'all to let this sink in. A true leader will know the way, go that way, and show people that way. So if you want to set an example, I would basically just know the way, go that way, and show people that way. Quite simple, But I just want that to sink in and let y'all think about that on this Spiritual Sunday edition of the HFWB podcast. And also, for those who are here in Corpus Christi, Texas, we got 6 more days, and I said it, 6 more days until the Activate the Mind to the Grind News Conference, which will be taking place November 13th, next Saturday, at the All-Star Sports Bar and Grill. I want to give a special shout out to everybody who has purchased tickets for the event. I truly appreciate it. And for those who haven't, it's not too late. There's still some tickets available. That way we can get as close as possible to selling out this event. And yours truly from HFWB will be putting together a speech. I will honestly say my speech is done, and I've been practicing it tremendously the last couple of days, and I will continue to do so here in a little bit as well. And other than that, make sure y'all continue to get those tickets by going to eventbrite.com and searching Activate the Mind to the Grind, and purchase your ticket now before it's too late. And for those who miss out on this event, don't worry, because believe me, this is only the first of these type of events to come. As a matter of fact, we finna kick off 2022 with another event, which is a little bit of an insider information that I'm giving you, but I just want y'all to be aware of that. So that's a message from PhD Productions, where we will continue to power higher devotions at the end of the day. But other than that, make sure y'all continue to visit healthfitnesswealthbusiness.com/CP, my official website for HFWB. Y'all continue to like the Facebook page by searching Health Fitness Wealth Business on Facebook. Y'all continue to subscribe to the YouTube channel by searching Health Fitness Wealth Business, and subscribe, leave a comment. I appreciate all the feedback, good or bad. It's going to help continue to find room for improvement. Y'all continue to follow at Hfwb, the official TikTok page for Health Fitness Wealth Business. There's a lot of stuff going on that I wish I can explain. Let's just say collaborations are on the way. Let's just say interviews are on the way. More videos are on the way as well. So there's a lot more to come from HFWB. I'm also still working on the first book that I plan on putting out. I'm about halfway done, and I'm about to get back into the lab on that. The Hfwb Program, we'll be on the lookout for that in early January, February 2022. And what's going to be in that program? Games, courses, an app, just to basically get your health, your wealth, and overall direction in your life on the right track. And here I will be honored to guide you in regards to that. So be on the lookout for that. And other than that, for those who are interested in HFWB merchandise, rest assured that there's more on the way. I got more merchandise coming. If y'all are interested, y'all can hit me up on the Cash App at $CPHFWB and purchase a shirt. They're going still for $6 a piece, so I would appreciate the support on that. More shirts on the way, more HFWB merch on the way, and hey, here we are once again, wrapping up another episode of the HFWB podcast, where I say, stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay blessed, have a spiritual Sunday. Salute, everybody.